What's up guys, welcome to another Tactical Tech Talk, and in this video today we're going to run through pretty much the comparison between all these M4s that we've got on the market. So I'm going to start with the Gen 8 M4. You know, it's a fan favorite. It's been so popular over the past 2 years, and it's yeah, for what you pay for, it's great. I'm then going to go into the Gen 9 M4, which is the next update from the Gen 8 from Jinming, which is also yet another super popular M4. And then I'm going to compare these two pretty much to one of our Tactical Edge Platinum range M4s, fully metal, and we're going to see what makes the Platinum range M4 so platinum. All right, so it just looks like another M4. All right, so we're just comparing M4s here. Yay, another M4. Woo. But let's see, what is so good about a platinum range M4, what makes it platinum, what makes it a gold range, and really see, why you might be paying, so much for one model and so much for another model. Okay, so we'll start in with the trusty old Gen 8 M4 here. And I'm going to crack on to pretty much the receiver on this one. Obviously, this one's got a polycarb gearbox in it, which is pretty much great for this video because you guys can see the internals of the gearbox from the outside. But in terms of strength, polycarb, it was obviously it's been outdone, or outperformed, I suppose, by nylon and even metal gearboxes, which is pretty much gonna happen anyway. But for when these M4s came out, they were a fantastic model. It was like, wow. Finally we've got a toy, looks like an M4. You can trick the hell out of it to what you wanted. It was better than the old Terminators, which used to run like a tractor, and this thing had a little bit more responsiveness when you pulled the trigger. So yeah, it's just fantastic. And the modding capability for a Gen 8 M4 was just unbelievable. You can still mod the hell out of it. You can do very similar mods to what you can do these days on the better M4s, but the technology suits the newer M4s better. So look, first of all, as you can see, there's quite a few screws on this receiver, and the reason that is this is split. Like it will split just straight down the guts and pull out like that. I'll show you guys that in a sec. So as compared to the other models, they don't do that. The Gen 8 style is the only one that sort of splits in half. The other great thing about it, especially as a starter blaster, is how modular it is. You can just literally crack that off. Out comes your handguard. There's your barrel, which you can change these to alloy very easily, and removing the buff tube and stuff just like that, and you're straight into the receiver like that. These things, absolutely fantastic. So I'll open it up and show you guys what's on the inside. So there, as you can see, that's the one half of the receiver pulled off, guys. So that's pretty much how the gearbox will sit inside the Gen 8 M4 receiver. The actual T-piece here is mounted to the receiver, and you've got your charge handle, which is hooked around that spring's just hooked around there. And all your wires are a big thing to note with a Gen 8 receiver. All your wires are on the external of the shell. Okay, most most gearboxes for V2s on the inside, a bit different, a little bit more snug, but the way they go in and out of their receiver kind of needs that. So this is the Gen 8 gearbox internals, guys. As you can see, everything's predominantly plastic, except for the cylinder. But look, it's a great base to learn how to do mods off. But look, let's see how it stacks up compared to the other M4s. Alright guys, moving on to the Gen 9 M4 now. Look, this thing was, you know, a huge release when it came out, very popular, and it's a huge improvement as well from the Gen 8. But the biggest thing is that they've gone and based the style of it off a V2 style gearbox, and I'll show you what that is in a second after this. So they've got the same style, with that being that the grip mounts to the gearbox, and you know, you've got an upper and lower receiver, which is just great. The way it comes apart is great on V2 style M4s, but pretty much straight away the whole receiver is nylon, quite a strong nylon as well, and we've got all the way back to a nylon buttstock. You've got a nylon buffer tube, all the way forward to a nylon handguard, nylon outer barrel, nylon muzzle as well. So pretty much everything on this is nylon. This particular model's got the polycarbonate gearbox shell, but they now come with nylon shells as well, so which is great. It's a better quality shell. The polycarbonates can be prone to cracking as opposed to the nylon, which aren't, which is great. You can put, you know, a bit beefier stuff into nylon and abuse it a bit harder, and it'll last definitely a lot longer. So look, crack this one straight open and I'll show you guys what is the ins and outs of the Gen 9 M4. Alright guys, as you can see, this is the Gen 9 gearbox out of the receiver. It's a completely different sort of way to get it out compared to the Gen 8. But it's great. It's very sort of, you know, for what it is, it's quite easy to get it out. So it's pretty much just the top receiver getting pulled off by one pin here, and then you go through all the work of removing the buffer tube, and then removing the grip. Now the grip's completely different compared to the Gen 8, whereas the motor actually sits in the grip. Now this is a very V2 style trait, I suppose, with their design, is that the motor will sit in the grip, so the grip becomes also a motor housing unit. So but the thing to note about Gen 9s is that motor is also a 460, so same as the Gen 8, same size motor, just with a longer shaft to suit the grip mounting. So you couldn't grab a Gen 8 motor and put it into a Gen 9, obviously, because the shaft's a different length, but the motor frame itself, so the size of the motor is the same. So the power output of the standard motor will generally be the same. And the problem with 460 motors is the range of different models is quite limited compared to 480. So I'll touch on 480 in a minute, but 460, you know, that is the standard motor, if you were wondering, for Gen 9s. As you can see, I've got the polycarb gearbox housing. That's just for the purpose of the video. The ones you buy these days all have a black nylon housing, but as you can see through it, you've got plastic parts all through it. That's how they come, plastic gears, and the plastic compression setup, also a plastic trigger, but the block is very different to the Gen 8. It's got like a more of a trolley push system, but it also allows it to have select fire. So that's the big difference between a V2 style, especially this Gen 9 gearbox to a Gen 8 is that these boxes have the ability to do select fire, whereas the Gen 8 doesn't. It's just full auto. So look, that is the Gen 9 gearbox right there. Pretty much plastic, everything straight out of the box as well. What we'll do is we'll check out the Platinum one and see what the difference between that and this is. Alright guys, so this is one of the Platinum range M4 models that we have here at Tactical Edge. This one in particular is the Spider M4, which is, you know, pretty much like the rest of the M4 Platinum range models. It has a metal receiver. The Gold range models have a plastic receiver or a nylon receiver, but they've all got the same gearbox, which is an alloy gearbox. We'll show you that in a sec. But I'll start at the back. These things have a solid, nice quality buttstock. This one in particular is an all nylon buttstock, but it is really nice quality. But the main difference between like Gen 8, Gen 9, they don't have a metal buff tube, whereas our Platinum range and even the Gold range have a metal buff tube, which is great. It's really solid, and you don't get any of the flimsy flex at the back here. It's just really nice and solid. Moving forward, obviously you've got a metal receiver, really nice and solid, and they pretty much all have polymer pistol grips, and that's pretty much the common anyway, because usually the motor sits in here, and you know the motor can get hot. It's also got a little bit of a, they use like a magnetic force to rotate, so having a polymer grip is definitely much more beneficial. And then like definitely with our Platinum range M4s, there is a few more features, like with like the charging handle and whatnot. Generally has this plate attached to it, which is our blowback plate, which can also be super easily changed to a blowback actual feature. So when you pull the trigger, this plate will go back and forth. They're standard without one, just because when you do change it, if you were to absolutely abuse the hell out of it with some crazy fast motors or crazy fast batteries, then this plate doesn't have an unlimited life span. So these plates are definitely better to have if you're not so worried about having that blowback feature. It's not required for the blaster to run, but it is definitely a cool little feature to have, that if you want to have that on there. A lot of our Platinum range models will have like a little bit of a flare with the charging handle. Some of them even have ambidextrous charging handles as well, which means you can do it from the left or the right side, which is really cool. And then moving on to the front, we've also got a alloy handguard as well. And that's pretty much on all our Platinum range models. We've got alloy handguards on them at varying lengths from short to long, depending on what you prefer. But like the weight of these is amazing. Definitely compared to like the Gen 8 and even the Gen 9. I mean, we've even got some etched stuff in some of the receivers as well. I mean, that's the best thing about the Platinum range, I'll be honest, is there's so many different models. So not everyone's going to have, you don't have to always buy the same thing as what your mates might have. There is also always different styles out there. I mean, even my own personal one is like a tan shorty CQB, and look, some of the stocks have come with these cool stocks as well, that spring loaded like that as well. So it's the best thing about these Platinum range is just the variety that you can get just straight out of it. So look, I'll crack straight into the gearbox of it for you guys, so I can show you what the difference is. But look, these things, very impressive. Alright guys, so this is the Platinum range and Gold range V2 gearbox that is in all of those models. It's the same, pretty much the same setup gearbox in all of them. As you can tell, the shell is actually metal, but the insides, the parts on the inside are actually also better quality, that of the Jinming models. So we've already got your metal gears already fitted. You've got a nice high quality piston, but with also a metal rack on it to mesh with the metal gears, with a nylon head as well. It's got a stainless cylinder, a polymer cylinder head, but also a custom stainless nozzle. And you can't change that nozzle, unfortunately, to anything else. That is sort of set up just for that length, just to suit the TVs. And you've got also a nylon tappet plate, as opposed to like the plastic tappet plates in the Gen 9 box, and a metal trigger already as well. So as you can tell, quite a nice quality straight out of the box blaster. Compare this though to a Gen 9 side by side, and that's it. So you've got your your nice quality platinum range gearbox and your Jinming plastic gearbox. Now that's pretty much so you can, this one obviously they don't come with the poly shell anymore, they come with the nylon shell, but it's just so you can see the internals. This is already stuff, if you wanted your Jinming blaster to sort of get up to this level, you'll be paying pretty much the same price to get this, but you still won't have a metal shell or anything like that. You'll probably be paying the same price, if not more, depending on if you do it yourself or if you're paying techs to build it for you. So that's what's so great about the Platinum range gear, is that it's like all the hard work in upgrading the gearbox and fitting all the custom parts and whatnot, and tricking your blaster out. It's all pretty much done. So a lot of people might not be into the modification side of things, which makes these even better for you. But if you are in the modification side of things, there's still a plethora of technology already out there to even upgrade them. So you can do MOSFETs, you can rip this whole block out and you can do MOSFETs into them. You can change the gears if you want to put better gears in there. You can, from that, upgrade your springs. But these are already fitted with pretty good springs, M100 from the factory. And they're already punching around about 300, but if it's the CQB ones, then they're a bit lower just for the accuracy. But yeah, they're all punching the high 200s, 300 feet per second straight out of the box. And you start going over that, then you've got to take a few extra measures to maintain your accuracy. But look, that's the main thing. The hard work's already done for you. So all in all, the value for money when it comes to these is fantastic, because even to get other blasters up to this level, you'll be spending more or something similar, and you still won't have like a metal shell or anything like that. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's the Platinum range gearbox. Look, it's fantastic, something you can buy straight out of the box. Awesome.